Well, for most of the years I've been writing, I've been in the closet, you know. It's been a paltry little hobby, and I didn't start writing until I had a restaurant, and my main wonderful waiter was the poet Michael Gizzi, Tom's brother, well, the food was good. It was wait a minute, really? But people came because of the men on the floor, I believe. They're on the floor, and and it was the front of the house, including my brother. They were all poetic, actor, handsome, charming, addict. Embree's was a kind of a well-loved restaurant, and behind the scenes it was a bit of an open board, a lunatic. But that's what makes urban restaurants. Because, everyone, when my brother left, actually, people in Innis, they were being sweet. They didn't know what they'd say, man, your brother could make a drink. Plus, we didn't even have to pay for it. That's what I mean about the cluelessness. And Michael, he called the older women Ma, and he insulted them. They didn't care. He was so gorgeous and whatever. So he bullied me into joining one of his writing workshops. So I learned how to write, mostly with these male poets, kind of Kerouac, Burroughs, that kind of stuff. So, forgive me. So that's why a little bit, I think I curse too much, but, well, you see what I mean.
We checked it out with the library. I said, can we curse in the library?
Oh,
and they said, yes.
It's sort of, it's like in that vein of, and so it's Michael Gizzi's fault. And I started writing or reading in public because these beautiful friends of mine and coworkers, they died. I started writing eulogies, and that's really how I started writing. So they're all dead. Walking with me and my dogs in the woods, my friend Tom says, they're all dead. I immediately know what he means. Yes, it's true, I say. Your parents, my parents, your brother, my brother, all of them dead. But here we are alive and kicking, our irreverent laughter trickling along exposed rocks, roofs, then an assault of dog shit. Why do people leave their dog shit right in the middle of the fucking path, Tom exclaims. Allie, no, I shriek. No eating of other people's dog poop. Jesus, Joan, don't you feed your dogs? Drunken notes of the Boston Symphony practicing in the early morning tumble into the trees. A chipmunk crying in anguish, its tail hanging out of Cassidy's mouth. Little Mary Alice racing across a field of Queen's Anne's lace, goldenrod, purple clover, splattered like abstract art as if she died and gone to heaven. I was not ready for Nora Ephron to die. I counted on her to keep writing great books, great movies, to say terrific things like, I hate my neck. And Bill, how could you have a blowjob, really? How could you have done that to us? And one of my favorite lines, cooking is not high art, it's not poetry, it's gardening. Like myself, she considered herself a cook, not a chef. I mean, who wants to be a red-faced, knife-wielding, raving lunatic? Have you read Kitchen Confidential? Have you seen that rageaholic asshole on TV screaming his guts out? Yes, chef, sorry, chef, his students on the verge of wetting their pants, but I digress. Nora Ephron was my age, so evermore I know my days are numbered. I feel death's warm, sweet breath on the back of my neck. My brother was a genius. You could ask him a question about anything and he'd have the right answer, such as, who was the King of England in 1832? Or who played Mona in All My Children? Or what are the scientific names of one-celled organisms? You could ask him anything except the truth of who he was. How are you, I asked. Fine, darling, he lied, sitting on a black desk chair with wheels, his version of a wheelchair, a small copper saucepan held above his head like some flag of contrition. I'm in the middle of making myself some pasta e fagioli like our mother used to make, remember? Liar, liar, pants on fire, I thought, not seeing one shred of evidence there were any necessary ingredients. Cannelloni beans, tortellini, tomato sauce, a sprig of parsley, a little Parmesan, a bulb of garlic for the love of God, but nothing but blackened kitchen walls from a fire I knew nothing about, empty cut glass decanters of booze, maybe bourbon, some gin, who could tell, an ashtray overflowing with butts. Before my brother couldn't walk, he could dance. He had rhythm, he had soul. The boy could dance before he had to hold on to walls to make his way, rolling from room to room on wheels, asking nothing of me. What do you have there, darling? He asked in his assiduously crafted Noel Coward way, his flamboyant personality larger than the shrunken shell of his body. Stuff for you to eat, I replied with bold-faced pretense as I placed plastic containers onto the counter. Curry, tofu, lentil dal, kimchi, couscous with goji berries, balsamic glazed seitan with wild mushrooms, chopped raw rainbow charred purple kale, burdock root, satay, mungwort, soba noodles. Oh, wonderful, darling. Put them in the freezer. I'll eat them another time. As if he was ever going to eat any of that crazy shit. As if I thought he even would. As if he wasn't starving to death before my very eyes. Brilliant liars, my brother and I. Careful never to bump into the elephant as we danced one hell of an Aztec two-step. Sides tripping the light fantastic across the floor on eggshells. The beat went on as the two of us twirled around and around in what was. Bringing that food was like the time I dragged him to the forum, a diluted and updated version of Est, where he was put in a room with a transformational leader, some psycho tyrannical hophead with a withered arm, who shouted at him to stop being a brat and grow the fuck up. Afterwards, his artifice stepped in, allowing him to have fun, imitating an ashram resident with a sizable trust fund, rising to her feet, swaying ecstatically, calling out, I got it, I got it. And a morose Indian woman in a sari and bindi, wife of a guru, wailing, I have no life, I have no life. Too soon, our walk is over, always too soon. Don't peel out and run, my dog's overcome the tomato, I shout. Don't worry about it, Joni Maloney, he laughs. Nora Ephraim, she would have made my brother some creamy, buttery mashed potatoes the week before he died alone in his bed, not some stupid fucking seitan and tofu. I should have done what our mother would have. I should have brought him his heart's desire, a nice pot of pasta and fagioli. Just once, I wished I'd asked him if he remembered the abandoned well, that yawning hole in the ground that he fell down into out behind Aunt Clara's restaurant. I tried to pull you out, I would have said. Remember? I tried to pull you out, but I couldn't reach you. I couldn't reach you, remember?
One of the amazing experiences that I've had and that we've had since we've been reading our material to each other and learning from each other is that you can see your own writing and your own style of writing more clearly against someone else's. You know, I mean, we come from really different places in the world, and our writing reflects the fact that we've had very different experiences. So all this time, I'm listening to myself, you know, kind of like in a closed, solitary confinement. I'm listening to myself and I'm thinking, oh, my writing is so dense, it's so packed, it's so angular, it's so New York, you know. It's the sound of my childhood in an apartment building with you know, car horns blaring in the street and so on. And Joan's writing, I actually learned a new word from listening to, because I kind of knew that there was a word out there that would explain it, but I didn't quite know what it was, and I discovered it was elegiac, which is a gorgeous word that means kind of like wistful and yearning, and you know, but her writing has so much more space in it than mine does. But instead of getting into a place where I thought, oh, I wish I could write like Joan, you know, I saw that Joan's writing was Joan's and my writing was mine, and that has been a real revelation.